Merry, Merry Christmas and a happy birthday. Going live. Mm. Shall I put on some Christmas music? I shall. You. Hello, hello. Hello, everyone. It's good to be here. It's good to be here. I see there's about two people on. I usually like to spend the first half or the first bit of a live doing a little breathing, breath work, body scanning, getting into this moment, being fully here now. So whoever is here, whoever is listening, let's come together. Let's get in sync as much as we can. I may not be able to see you. You may be able to see me. If you are there, give me a little hello in the chat so that I know that you're there and we can have a little chat and get the live going. I really like doing this because it's a lot more interactive and I can have direct access and speaking to all of you, answering questions. A lot of the questions I receive are very helpful. Um, just as someone who enjoys teaching and being a guide and a mentor, if I don't know something, it's nice to be like, I'll figure it out. I'll allow it to come when the time is needed. Alrighty, let's get in a comfortable position. Also, hello, hello. I think my mic's on. Is my mic on? Is my mic on? Pretty sure it's on. Pretty positive. All right. All right, everyone, get in a comfortable position. Notice any tension within your body. Start with your toes. Scan your toes to your heels, to your knees, to your hips, to your chest, to your shoulders, to your elbows, to your palms, to your fingertips. Scan your neck, to your jaw, scan your face, third eye, crown. Let's move forward to our breathing exercise. Take a deep breath in for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hold. Exhale for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale. Hold. Exhale. Inhale. Hold. Exhale. Whoever's there, we are now in sync as much as we can be. It's good to be here, everyone. I figured, why not go live on Christmas Day? Some may not celebrate, some may not, what have you. You know, those who do might be with their families right now. I was thinking a lot about those who might be alone, and I think about how during the holidays, there are a few people who might feel, well, there might be people who feel as though they're left out. Sean, how are you doing? So glad to see you here once again. um, yeah, you know, it's nice sometimes to hop into a space where it encourages and promotes returning to ourselves and not to distractions and not getting absorbed in the distractions of the outside world. 66 Lord Z. Lourdes, how you doing? Thanks for being here. Good to see y'all. Or good to talk to y'all. Can't really see y'all. What do you think about Blue Lotus? Blue Lotus. What is Blue Lotus? Hold on, I have to look that up actually. I'm looking it up because I don't know what it is. Oh, a flower? Is it a flower? Let me know. 66 Lourdes. What do you mean by Blue Lotus? Um, and then maybe we can dive into that. But yeah, so thank you all for being here. And I also wanted to chat to you all about the grounding power of gratitude and how that allows us to truly step into the present moment. Us being in this holiday season, and there's a lot of giving in different ways, and just the energy of this time. Many times it's very jolly, but simultaneously, in the midst of this jolliness, a lot of shadows may arise within others or within yourself, and a lot of challenges may arise, like seeing others with their families, seeing others in the gift giving process, things like that. And so it's really nice. And so I also want to share with you all that my intention for these Here Now live streams, right? My intention for it is really for me to come on, 2 to 3 times a week, and be in communication with you all, and create a space where we can ask questions, we can feel comfortable expressing ourselves, and you know, I can also build an understanding of what is necessary and needed from you all and what you'd like to hear. It's like this really beautiful cycle of giving and receiving. So yeah. But gratitude, truly grateful to be here now, to be here in this moment. What gratitude really does is it takes us out of these conditioned patterns within the mind. Gratitude brings us back to what we have right now. it it creates a gap between attachments to desires that ultimately, I would say, that ultimately end up in this feeling of suffering, right? There's not a practice for non-attachment. There's no practice for non-attachment. Um, what's most important is observing the mind enough, observing this in the individual's personality, but specifically observing the minds and our emotions enough to see what attachment does to us, to see how attachment makes us feel, exactly how it makes us suffer. And so that's why there's this importance of of non-reactivity in meditation, being in a meditative state, non-reactivity towards thoughts and emotions, because you can become aware of these patterns. And the more aware you become of these patterns, you begin to, I would say, close the gap of this idea that we are separate, right? Because the idea of separateness, the more separate we feel, the more suffering we feel. And so the more we begin to observe ourselves, and we acknowledge we acknowledge the patterns that we live out and we're so used to, we begin to break free because we're fully aware. We're not absorbed and we're not attached. What herbs help with anxiety? Uh, I don't know. I don't really know of any herbs. I could tell you that I drink calming teas, and maybe that might be helpful, like lavender and chamomile. They're very calming. It might actually, make you sleep. But specifically herbs, I don't know. But you know what I'll do is I'll do a little research myself and see. But I don't really know any herbs. I do know, like, kava. Kava. Kava is I actually have never tried kava. I've heard it tastes like mud. Ethan, if you want to share your experience, like what kava has done for you and what it tastes like, things like that, do share. Maybe after this question, I'll try some kava because there's actually a kava shop right by me that I'm always like working at, and I never get kava. I've gotten kratom. I don't like kratom. Kratom made me really nauseous. Made me really nauseous afterwards. But kava, I've heard some things about it. Namaste, Ronan. It is nice to see you here in this comment section. How has all of your days been? What are you feeling grateful for today? I was just speaking about how there really is no practice for non attachment. Specifically, the best and the most effective way without trying to attach to a desire, right? Because that's attachment, is observing thoughts and emotions and non reactivity. So we become aware of how this attachment makes us feel. What does that suffering feel like? Things like that. And that's why the power of gratitude, it grounds us in the present moment because we look around and we see all that we have. We look around and we see all that we're grateful for and recognizing that all that truly exists is the now. All that will ever exist is the now. And truly, the greatest gift you can ever give yourself is being here right now, acknowledging this moment right now, no matter where you are, being fully here, uh, being aware that you are aware. I'm grateful for awareness. Yes, Sean. Gratitude. Have you ever like been on a walk and you're just walking and you are just aware that you are aware, right? Like, whoa, I'm aware. We never really thought it's not common to do that, right? Because we've been so conditioned to be so attached and identified with so many outside of the external. And it's not to say that anything external is good nor bad. It's just what happens is when we're not fully conscious and we're not fully aware, we end up mistaking the truth of who we are. You know, it's a matter of a conscious awareness. And I had an idea to dive in a little deeper, but I'll go back to that. Do you ever take psilocybin, Ronan? Yes, I've taken psilocybin a couple times. Right now, I'm in this space where I don't feel like I need it. Um, I took It's funny the journey with that. I feel like all plant medicines, you must be called to take it because every plant medicine has a consciousness. Every plant medicine has their own wisdom that they hold and their own wisdom that they teach us, right? Whether it's psilocybin, whether it's marijuana, whatever you might take, cacao, all of these things that we are ingesting within our body, into our body, they all have their own consciousness. So they teach us something. And what's interesting is back in 2019, I took psilocybin by myself for the first time. Before that, I had been taking it with other people. I'd taken before with other people, but it was my first time taking it alone, and it was a magical experience. I like longboarding, so I was just longboarding. I had a beautiful My apartment. It had a beautiful lake in the front with a whole bunch of land, and I was just chilling out there, just taking everything in. Senses are heightened, things like that. And the plant medicine, psilocybin, it taught me a lot. And after that experience, I knew I did not need it for a very long time. I didn't want to because the experience was so intense. Like oftentimes, oftentimes psychedelics, when you have a consistent practice, or you're consistently in a meditative state, and however you consider that to be, oftentimes it's not necessary. Often it just feels like it's a very an intense experience of the moment. Like, I just find that when you're not called for it, it doesn't feel like necessary, if that makes sense to anyone who kind of gets me. Um, so I haven't taken it in a while until this year. I took it with a group of my friends and we had ceremonies for it. But even then, it really wasn't the same. So I don't feel called. It's not necessary for me right now. I know there's a lot, like some people, they take ayahuasca, DMT trips, things like that. I will say you must be called. You must be called to this conscious, wise, maybe we could call it an entity that we're taking. You must be called to it. So, right now, I'm not called to take it. And if you do, make sure you have a practice and you're setting intentions and you acknowledge it as consciousness. You acknowledge it as when you ingest it, it's gonna share some wisdom with you and be open to what it will be sharing because we don't know often what it will share with us. Um, it may bring up shadows. This is when we have what is called like a bad trip. Uh, so make sure you are mentally preparing yourself. Make sure you are respecting it. You're loving it. And, I could tell you that I have not had a bad trip. So, I can tell you that I have not had a bad trip. I've had a trip where it was not the best because I can tell you I was so in my head and I was able